Joining us now on iCan Media is Ken Smith with Olympus Scientific Solutions Americas and Innovex Canada. Tell us a little bit about the groups you represent first, and then we'll talk about why you're here.
Well, the group I'm with is focused on non-destructive testing. They have a range of products, handheld and online systems that do eddy current type testing, ultrasonic testing, and the area that I'm focused in is X-ray fluorescence testing, which is compositional analysis of alloys primarily for this application. So we would shoot a stainless steel and tell you how much chrome and nickel and molybdenum would be in there and what grade it would be, and that's useful because the different grades of alloys are specified to do different jobs at a plant. If they get them mixed up, it causes big problems. In all the metals, pretty much a valve looks like a metal valve looks like a metal valve.
So is this something that you would do before the structure is made, or is this something you go in and check afterwards to check the integrity of something?
Because of the legacy situations, they do both. And the ability to do this testing wasn't so readily available, 50 years ago. So there's things that they do need to test that are quite old. The testing is usually redundant because the parts come in, they get checked at receipt, then they get put in the warehouse, and then they get taken out to be installed in maintenance. So if you're welding at a site, you pull out your welding rods, you use 6 of them, you take 4 back, you put them in the wrong bin. The next day, somebody takes them out. So they test, there's redundant testing. So it goes on during and then not at the plant, but when they tear it apart, they test it again to sort it to go back and be recycled. So essentially there's a lot of testing. One part could be tested dozens of times in its life.
And obviously one of the things, aside from work stoppages or issues with that, are the safety factor for the people working on the machines.
Yeah, that's a big deal. A lot of what they're concerned about, the specifications have to do with the temperature and the chemical properties of the material flowing through. So when corrosion is an issue, they specify higher nickel or chrome levels in the alloy. So they can use carbon steel in a lot of things, but some things they can't. So it is a safety issue, and a lot of the bigger losses that they have at chemical plants are related to material mixes in explosions or fires. So the petroleum industry is very meticulous about testing material because the consequences are serious.
Well, see, and this is one of the things, if you're looking at the general public, they have concerns about the industry because if something goes wrong, it can tend to cause quite a problem. I'm thinking of BP, Exxon, Valdez, like any of these sorts of things, or some of the leakages that we've had in pipelines around Alberta. With the testing that you're doing and how you see the industry going, should that help alleviate some fears?
Well, I think there's always the potential for problems everywhere, but they're doing their best to not have any. And you can look at it 2 ways. I mean, the problems when you have them are bad, but they don't have them every day. The pipelines aren't leaking everywhere all the time. So they are doing a lot of testing to make sure the welds are good and the material isn't flawed and all that stuff. But occasionally things get by them, and so there's always some risk there. So it should feel better, I guess. But I mean, it doesn't mean there'll never be another problem because it's hard to get it right all the time.
Ken, thank you so much for your time.
All right.